Hi everybody, welcome back to 60 Years of True Stories. This story I'm going to tell you today happened when I was 20, and I wouldn't have been 21 for like 9 months. And the reason that I know that so well is because some coworkers after work, they'd always go out and have a beer after work, and they invited me, and I said, I'm not 21, I won't be 21 for like another 9 months. They said, well, we'll wait for you. So 9 months, went down there and had a beer with them a few times. So I was young. Well, when I was hired there was a guy that was going to train me how to do 3 jobs. And he was 32 years old. So he had 12 years on me. And he was married. And so he was training me. Each job would take he was going to spend like a week with me on each job. Make sure I was fully trained and so make sure everything was good. So I actually learned it like in 2 days, but what the heck, it was easy for me. And but I could see it being hard for some people, but it just was easy, and it was easy for him too. I think he said he picked it up in a day or two. So anyhow, I got to know him, and one thing that I learned about this guy, even though he's 12 years older than me, sometimes he thought like around a 6-year-old child. He wasn't, dumb or anything. It was just that, how kids would pout if they didn't get their way? He was a pouter. If the boss told him to do something and he didn't want to do it, he was the kind of guy that would go and sit in the corner and pout about not wanting to do it. And he'd get mad easy, and little things would bother him. But just the way he would act, I said, sometimes this guy's like 6 years old, But he was a nice guy, I'm not putting him down. So I was at dinner with a friend of mine, and they came in, him and his wife, and I met her, and I said, this poor guy, this woman here, she can convince him of anything. She had total power over him because because of his very naive, like lived a very sheltered life. And she could convince this guy of anything and he would believe it. And kind of felt bad because when I met her, I said, yeah, whatever it is, he's in love with her, whatever. So, but he was telling me that, at work that he really wanted a baby, and they've been trying for 12 years and just can't have any children for whatever reason. So time went on, and this is the kicker. This is the one that I really want to tell you, and it's a very common story. It's happening right now as I'm talking to you. Somewhere this is happening. It shouldn't be happening, but it happens every day. So a coworker came in, another guy. He said, hey, I bought a brand new truck last night or yesterday. I want you guys to look at it at break time. So at break time, there's like 5 of us that went outside. He happened to be one of them. We'll call him John. John is the 32-year-old guy. We'll just call him John. And we were looking at the truck, and all of a sudden, here coming into the parking lot is a Porsche. And I recognized it was John's wife right away. And one of the coworkers says, hey, John, did you buy your wife a Porsche? That's nice. And with pride in his heart and a big smile, this guy was so happy to tell this story. He says, no, this is my wife's boss's car, and he really likes her. He lets her drive his car. Where the other guys of us, we looked at each other like, oh my gosh, this isn't right. But he's very naive, believes whatever he's told. So we go back in the shop, and one of the guys walked with me because he had to go to the back with me. That's where he worked. We worked in the back of the building. And he was mad. He said, if my wife drove up in a boss's car, I'd open up that car door, I'd pull her by her hair, and I would start punching her in the mouth. And you watch now. He's been trying to get her pregnant for 12 years. And you mark my words, if she isn't pregnant in 3 months, you mark my words. Well, it was probably about 3 months. He came in happy like a little kid. And he said, I'm going to be daddy. Well, the guy that was mad, he said, I told you she was going to be pregnant about 3 months, and it's been 3 months since she came in that Porsche. So I said, yeah, but we can't say anything about this. You know, he's been wanting to be a dad for 12 years, and it is what it is, you know. And I think back in those days, we didn't have really DNA testing like we do now. So there's no way you could prove it. And he could prove it now for sure. But yeah, he was all upset. I said, don't say a word, because, you know, if it gets around, you know, you could get fired for, you know, slander, you know, and you can't prove it. And you don't want to do any slander towards a guy. Just keep it to yourself. So it was very shortly he came in all upset because his dad died. And he said he'd never meet his child, because they didn't know if they were going to have a boy or a girl. They didn't know. So now my dad won't get to meet the grandchild. So he's going to go to the cemetery. They're going to have a service at the cemetery. And everybody, even the secretaries, everybody says when John gets to the cemetery, he might as well just grab a shovel and start digging his own hole, because that kid ain't his. I mean, that's common sense. That's not his kid. And, you know, I was pretty close to John, and I didn't want to say too much, so I didn't say nothing. It's better to just keep your mouth shut. But that's the story that I want to tell you. It's a sad story, but it's happening right now as I'm talking to you. Right now. And it shouldn't be happening right now, but it happens. But it's just a little story I want to tell you, and you guys take it easy. Have a great day. Bye.